Well, I'm here to speak for the streams tonight. My first encounter with an urban stream was in college. I lived in the dorms at the time, and the people I surrounded myself with often had more brains than smarts. And so when we were out of schoolwork to do, we'd go find other things to occupy ourselves. One of these ventures we called urban spelunking. To go urban spelunking, you just need dark clothing, a flashlight, and some imagination. And so we'd walk downtown in the cover of night, hop down in this concrete culvert, and then make our way up this ominous dark tunnel. We'd encounter bats, soup cans, and sleeping bags, and at that time, our imaginations perhaps got the best of us, and we turned back and head home. I know now that this is an urban stream called Jordan Creek, a stream that actually runs very close to where we're sitting right now, almost right beneath us. Springfield's history with urban streams goes all the way back to its foundation. When the Campbell brothers were looking for a suitable place to settle, they were led to an area by the Native Americans full of springs and a natural well of wonderful depth. As Springfield grew around this clean water resource, the demands on those urban streams grew as well. Droughts saw the creeks become drier, and rainy periods saw the creeks flood violently. After enough of these floods, the citizens had gotten tired of the damage and the loss caused by all these floods, like you can see in this picture, because all the buildings were so close to the stream. And so they remedied it the best way they knew how, and we can see the results of that remedy today. An urban stream, though, offers a lot of benefits to a community. The first benefit I thought of when making this presentation was handling raw sewage, which is an awful thought, hopefully, to you. But we're not as far removed from practices like these as you might think. And there's cities all over the world that still rely on this open sanitation system. However, when a city grows, it often outgrows that stream's capacity to handle its waste, and disease can ensue from that point. In fact, Springfield, early in its history, encountered a similar problem. Landowners along Wilson's Creek began to complain of the water being contaminated and throwing off impure and health-destroying odors and germs. So finally, the sewer system was separated from the stream system. A more familiar example of how we use streams, perhaps, is handling stormwater. When it rains in an urban area, there's not a lot of places for water to go. It can't soak into the ground or be absorbed by plants like it would in the wilderness. And so what you have is this water running to the lowest point. Now, to prevent floods like this, Springfield uses culverts and concrete tunnels to move the stormwater as quick as possible. But unfortunately, as you can see, that system doesn't always work today. So this is a picture from 2008. And if you can imagine, this is the Butler Rosenberry parking lot just over on Main Street, inundated to the point where canoes could float over it. Not only does our stormwater system not work as well as we once hoped it would, but stormwater itself is a filthy type of contamination. The first couple minutes of a rainstorm will send water untreated and unfiltered into our streams and rivers that's even more contaminated and more polluted than raw sewage. My hope is that we begin to think of stormwater with the same kind of gut reaction that we think of an open sewage trench. On the positive side, we get a lot of good benefits from urban streams too. So recreation abounds when you have these urban environments with streams and green spaces. This is a place where people can access a connection with nature only a minute or two walk from where they work or where they live. We get the bonus living in Springfield of the James River too. So beyond the normal hiking activities and park activities you can do, you can also take advantage of the river for floating, fishing, and swimming. Now, these are opportunities and privileges that we can have and we can pass on to our kids and grandkids if we stay close to the water and the water stays clean. We often find in these stream environments too that art and culture will intersect with nature and recreation. You can find this mural painted near Fast Night Creek as it crosses underneath Campbell Street. And if you were to go down in Jordan Creek Tunnel just behind you, you'd find a whole other type of art and culture that's just as interesting down there. Another advantage we have is education. So a big part of my job is to take people out into a stream and get them connected to nature. Just a couple weeks ago, I took a class from OTC up to Silver Springs Park, and we caught crayfish and mayflies and measured stream flow, all things that are normally reserved, we think, for a rural environment, but in this community we have that opportunity so close by. The state of our streams now could be better. Most of our stretches of urban stream are hidden from plain sight, and so they suffer from this out of sight, out of mind type of attitude. But as we think of our attitude towards throwing things away, it's quickly challenged as we see where away is. So what is the big idea behind all of this? What can we do? What can we change? The big ideas lie in us. They lie in Springfield. And so we have the opportunity to do things differently. Throughout Springfield, there are organizations like the Watershed Committee, the James River Basin Partnership, who get to work with the city of Springfield as well as local colleges and students from high schools to do cleanup projects. So we get our hands dirty, we pull trash out, and it seems like a daunting and impossible task, but if you think of the broken window theory, a stream that has lots of waste and armchairs and bicycles in it is more likely to be polluted than a clean stream, which the community will protect with pride. Another type of project we can do is tree planting and restoring the bank habitat. So here students are planting trees which will not only filter the water and control erosion, but they add to that aesthetic value and make the stream something that the community sees as worth protecting. The step beyond that is creating more green space. So if you can envision this spot right here as a park, this is a rendering of what it might look like in our future. We'll bring this creek that's hidden from sight right now back into the open where people can enjoy it and people can experience it and people can find its value. As we look at the current state of our streams, it can seem a little bit rough sometimes, but I do think that the future of our urban streams is a bright one. We have the opportunity and we have the task now, in this time, to take a resource that was one of the founding resources of our city and bring it back into the spotlight and make it something for people to enjoy and love. So go love your urban stream. Thank you.